Don't go into debt. Hello, it's Monica, and this is gonna be the start of some interesting videos because we're gonna talk about money. Baby Yoda is here. Oh, just splashed everyone. Baby Yoda is here for the talk as well, to learn from my journey. Also, sorry if the lighting changes. The clouds are like moving back and forth, so my light is just funky. Also got some notes I might be looking down at just so that I get all my thoughts across the way I want to. But in this video, I will be talking about my personal debt journey, how I got into debt, what I'm doing about it, how I'm budgeting, and like my next steps and different tools that I've been using. And I really just wanted to make this video to just kind of share my story because I know I love watching people's stories about other people with 6 figures in student debt or other people who are relating to my situation, and I can learn from what they're doing. And so I'm hoping that any of you watching this video can take something away from this video, even if it's something small. All right, you're too young to hear this. Can you get out of my frame? Thank you. Losing my mind. This video got kind of long, so take a seat, get comfortable, grab some coffee, and let's go. Alrighty. Well, how did I get so in debt? Okay, well, first of all, I went to a 4-year private university and it was expensive. So I had to take a loan out for every semester that I was in school, which is normally 4 years, but I'll get to my situation in a second. I took out loans every year, and I also took out an additional loan my freshman year because I like miscalculated like the housing cost or something, and I had to take out another loan that I forgot about. I didn't even like think about it until literally long after I'd graduated, 90 days after the first payment was due. So I was late on a loan I forgot existed. So that was fun.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
I studied abroad in my very last semester in college, and I did the whole thing. I did full-time, 18 credits. I was working, I was super involved, and so I was like really on the grind. I finished my major my first 3 years, and so all I had left were a couple GEs, and so I studied abroad with an amazing program called Semester at Sea, and I was able to finish up my like last few credits in that semester, which was actually the fall semester. So I finished up my degree and everything and credits in 3.5 years, but my school didn't have graduation in the fall. They only had graduation in the spring. So technically I graduated in 4 years, but like 3.5. But the thing was, I had to finish in that amount of time because I had taken out the max amount of loans that you can take out. Like Wells Fargo, which was my stupid lender, don't use Wells Fargo, by the way, for my initial student loans. They said, you're at the max number that we can lend out to people for student loans. I was like, huh? So that's like the first red flag of, hey, you're being kind of dumb. So yeah, I literally had to finish school because there was no way I was gonna be able to pay for another semester, so. I received like some scholarship money like to go towards every year because of when I applied in my like high school merit and education and ACT scores or whatever. I got a little bit of money. Oh, hello sunshine. But not nearly enough. Like it wasn't enough to like justify going to such an expensive school. Okay, bye sunshine. But all I can do now is like learn from this experience and not dwell on it, and just like learn from this financial burden and be more responsible moving forward. And that's what I want to kind of relay to anyone watching this video as well. Like I thought that going into mountains of student debt was just like the norm, which it pretty much was. Like, oh, you're going to college, you're taking out student loans, and you're gonna be paying those back for the rest of your life. And I thought to myself, oh, that's the only way. That's the way it is. That's just life. And I figured that since I was getting a degree in tech, I got my bachelor's in computer science, that I was like, oh, no problem. I'm from Silicon Valley, like I'm gonna get a tech job and it's gonna pay me $1 zillion and I'll pay those loans back no problem. Well, enter the real world. Welcome back to planet Earth. Yeah. But like in reality, the magnitude of my student debt didn't hit me until it's far too late. I mean, I'm sure with many other people, like you don't realize actually how much debt you are going into until the first bill comes and you're like, oh, it's that much. But I also didn't realize you could start making payments like before you graduate, because I know a lot of lenders let you know like, oh, you don't have to make your first payment until 6 months after you graduate, so don't even worry about it while you're in school. Like, no interest will accrue, we got your back, we won't ask you for money until interest starts accruing, and you could have been making payments for 4 years, but don't sweat it. So fast forward, I graduate, I realized I had another student loan that was amounting to about an extra $10,000 that I had no idea about. I mean, I must have had an idea because when I had applied 5 years ago now, or however long ago that was, I must have known, but it just completely forgot about it. So dumb.
You stupid.
Fast forward, I get a summer internship after I graduate. I go to move to Florida, and my student loan payments are about to begin, and I was getting a job, but I figured I was kind of working my way up through getting like a big girl job to like get the big girl salary and to pay the big girl bills, aka my gigantic student loan payments. But my body decided to say no, 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 and I ended up being hospitalized for 9 days and going through a whole thing. I had a mountain of health problems that like still affect me to this day, and it's just a nightmare for medical bills and working, and just like it was a fiasco. I've talked about this probably like in so many videos on my channel, but like basically I had some serious health conditions and I couldn't work, and I had to move back home in with my parents and basically just get better for months, and I wasn't collecting unemployment now that I think about it. Why wasn't I? I don't know. That was just like before I had a brain, and now I'm like being more active and purposeful and intentional with everything I'm doing now. So can't tell you what was going through my head at that point. But fast forward to I get better. I finally get an internship with my dream company, which is the Walt Disney Company. It turns into a full-time career, which I'm so, so, so grateful for. And I've been able to maintain my position throughout this unprecedented time, is what everyone says. Unprecedented. But I'm so, so, so thankful that I've been able to continue working and keep my job and push towards all of my goals that I'm having. So now I'm trying to keep going in this new direction that I've been creating for myself, and hopefully spread some knowledge for those of you who want to do so as well. But before I got my life together, I was living off of credit cards. Can't take any of those past decisions back. Some of it I regret, some of it I don't. I wouldn't be exactly where I am now if none of that had happened, so here we are, we're moving forward from it. So how did I take control? What changed? How did I get my life together here? Well, the first step to solving a problem is admitting that there is one. I added up all my debts, every single loan, every single credit card, what I owed to my mom, like everything that I am paying or owe money to, added it all up. And you want to know the total? At this point, I was adding everything up from, I think, this date forward, which was like, was that January of this year? I think so. I think I like actually wrote everything down and listed it, had the balances and the interest rates and the totals starting, I think it was January of this year. So 8 months ago. Added it all up, and my grand total, ready for this? Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down? Are you ready? Because I'm not ready. $229,949.88. Just shy of owing $230K. I'm 24 years old. So pretty sure I cried for a week straight after I put all of that into perspective. Very, very heavy burden and just a lot to kind of take in, to be honest. I had no idea where to begin, but I just knew that the longer I push it off, the longer it extends the pain and the worse financially it will make me, and I don't want that. So I turned to the internet and found people like Asia Dang or like Budget Moms and so many other people who at least were going through something similar that I was and kind of sharing their stories, but they all at least mentioned Dave Ramsey. Some didn't like him or like didn't believe in his methods, but I decided to listen for myself. He has a radio show, but he, like from that radio show, he has his YouTube channel where he records the show and as well as his podcast. So all these different mediums, but like focused around the radio show and around his book called Total Money Makeover, where he goes through 7 baby steps, where he divides out all the things that you need to do for financial peace and all of that good stuff. But you can look it up and go look at his steps, and there's so many videos out there like explaining them in detail. But anyway, I started listening to his podcast and I instantly became hooked. Like I was converted. I was sucked in. I was religiously listening to his podcast like 3 times a day, because he has, I think, 3 new episodes, because it's like a 3-hour radio show, so each hour is an episode of the podcast. But anyway, I was listening to it every day, and I would go on walks during quarantine and just like trying to get my finances together and just learning from all these people who call in, sharing their experiences, and Dave kind of giving them real advice. And he does not sugarcoat anything. He is an acquired taste, I would say, and he will straight up like tell you you're stupid or that's stupid, and he won't fault you for things that you've done in your past before you kind of found him, but now it's all about what you're doing right now from this moment forward. How are we going to learn from that, and how are we not going to make any more stupid decisions? And for me, like, I like that. I need someone to be like, look, this is how it is, get your shit together. So I started on his baby steps. Baby step 1, you save $1,000 as an emergency fund. Baby step 2, you pay off all your debts, and you do that by the snowball method. So you line up all your debts, smallest to largest, and you just pay the minimums for every balance, and any additional money you can, you throw at the smallest balance. And then once you pay that off, you use whatever money you were throwing towards that, towards the next balance, and so on until you paid off all your debt. I would listen to people's stories and learn from kind of what those people were going through, and listen to Dave's advice to them and kind of take it piece by piece and apply what was relatable for me, and it really started working for me. I was especially kind of officially sucked in when I would listen to what Dave Ramsey calls the debt-free screams. So he will invite couples and families onto his show to do a literal debt-free scream. He will count it down and ask how much debt they paid off. It could entire range of numbers and ranges of incomes and different family types and all of that, but they would literally count down to 3, 2, 1, like, I'm debt free, and made me emotional. It still makes me emotional every time I listen to them. Like, I would be listening to the podcast in my car driving, and someone would be doing a debt-free scream, and I would just burst into tears, because like, it is such a burden. Like, if you are going through this as well and you have a giant mountain of debt on you, like, you know the weight that holds and how you feel held back and just weighted down. And maybe, you know, we did this to ourselves, but it's hard to dig yourself out. It's easy to fall in, hard to crawl back out. That was just like, enough is enough for me. Like, I don't want to live with this burden anymore. Like, I want this out of my life. So time to put in the work. So I created a budget, a monthly budget, using the Every Dollar app, and it's, hello?
Thank you for choosing Marriott Hotels. We would like to...
Okay, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so I created a budget using the Every Dollar app, which is one of the Dave Ramsey solutions apps, something like that. But it's a free app and you can enter in all your income and you can separate out all of your expenses for your budget and track as you go along. So that is like the key. You must make a budget. And the thing with Every Dollar app is every dollar of income that you add in gets budgeted somewhere. So hence the term every dollar. So every dollar is allocated, whether it's a bill, savings, debt, you name it. Every single penny you make is going somewhere. I also use this amazing like Google Sheets template to actually calculate in exactly when I'm going to pay off my debts. So I put in my balances, I put in my interest rates, and I put in the minimum payments, and then how much I can snowball and how much I can pay in addition each month, and it will calculate out exactly to the month when I will pay off every single debt. And it is beautiful. It really keeps me going. It's great because I'm a visual learner. It has a little graph for you and it lays out every little balance that you're going to be paying every month so that you can keep going. It took me months to get my budget like really on track and really tight and get the hang of it and be used to tracking all of my expenses. But now it's like second nature. It's like I buy something, I immediately put it in the app, or after a few days, I'll go through and make sure I add every single thing into my budget. And I know exactly how much money is going where every single month. My budget buddy. And once I made my first snowball payment, like my first additional payment, like it felt so good. I started doing side hustles and I started just throwing money at my debt. I was like, get out of my life. Little by little, my amount started to go down, and before I knew it, I had paid off 3 credit cards, and I made a goal of paying off my last 2 by the end of this year. So I'm on track right now for I think March, but I'm hoping to make some additional payments so that we can get it done before 2021. So that was about $8,920.76 in just those 3 credit cards alone, but I have paid a total of $23,121.28 from my starting mountain of debt balances. So we are 23K down, 207 to go. We're doing it. But right now, if I continue on this plan, like not including any additional payments, which I'm planning on making as many additional payments as I can from this point out, so just counting like the snowball payments, I am set to be debt free in January of 2027. But I want to be debt free by the time I'm 30. That's like a goal I've set, and I turn 30 in May of 2026. So this just motivates me so much more. Like, I want to get that time down. I want to pay this stuff off. I like have my game face on. I'm gazelle intense. Like, let's do this. I was definitely what Dave calls Dave-ish, which is when you like kind of follow Dave Ramsey's plan, like ish, but you're not what he calls gazelle intense by focusing all your energy on it for like the first few months this year. But now, especially with quarantine and the fact that I'm lucky enough to have jobs and be able to create side hustles for myself and kind of maintain this plan, I have just become so much more focused on it. When before, like, it was so easy to be like, well, I mean, I'll still budget this much to go eat out or go do this fun activity. But now with quarantine, I'm like, well, don't have to pay for that anymore, so that's great. We don't have to pay for gas. That's great. So trying to look on the bright side of this, but definitely not trying to downplay the effects of COVID-19 and so many other injustices happening in the world right now. Like, I've been putting it in my budget to also make donations to organizations I believe in and pay more attention to politics and things like that. So I think I'm overall just trying to grow as a person and make better choices. So this has been, thankfully, a time of growth. The key is to make a plan, but to be flexible with that plan. I mean, the budget is really the key, but the great thing about your budget is you can modify it. So I modify my budget every single month. Like if I'm putting too much money towards something, or if I happen to go over in one of my categories, I just have to take from another category and then learn from that and try again the next month to tighten it up even more if you can. So I used to shop for groceries in a certain way and buy certain foods, but then I realized I don't need this like luxury tofu or like extra stuff. I don't know, that was like a random thing, but now I'm just buying like simple vegetables and just necessities and things like that. When you get motivated enough, you realize that there's a lot you can do. And lastly, the most important thing that I hope you can take away from this video is you must know your why. So why do I want to be out of debt? Why do I want to take control? Why do I want to be financially free? And those might be obvious answers for you, but you know, it might not be. It might be something that you need to think about and try to envision a future for yourself where you can see the finish line and keep yourself motivated. So definitely keep that in mind. But anyway, long story short, wow. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've tuned in this long, thank you so much. I definitely want to post more videos like this, maybe for like budgeting, my side hustles, selling things, triumphs, payoffs, anything like that, and like tips and motivation. So please subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of those videos and follow along on my journey. To anyone going through a similar situation, or maybe you have an even worse situation, which if that's the case, I am so deeply sorry, and I hope that you can recover from your situation quickly and stay healthy and pay down your debt. I will link below the EveryDollar app, the Google Sheets kind of template that I use, as well as all of my social media, so please give me a follow on Instagram as well. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment down below if you are also going through a debt journey of your own. I would love to kind of start a little community with you guys and go through this together. Also, yes, I did buy myself an iPad, which is a very luxurious purchase, and I did an unboxing video, but I saved up for months to buy myself this item, and I'm using it for my side hustles, and it just gives me peace because I love drawing on it. But don't come for me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.